Hey friends, welcome back to the 2014 Summer of Scripture. That is the adventurous project of some young adults here in Madison, Wisconsin to read the entire Bible in 90 days. My name is Jonathan Melton. I'm the chaplain here at St. Francis House, the Episcopal Student Center at UW-Madison. And I'm here today with a student and good friend, Noah Van Dam. Noah, welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Jonathan. So I am a grad student in mechanical engineering here at UW-Madison, and have been here for a little while now, but getting close to getting done, so yeah.
So Noah and I have been talking the last couple days about something that is of particular interest to Noah, and that is learning more effective study strategies, or strategies that will help you be more effective in your learning. And we've had this conversation before the Summer of Scripture, but now that the Summer of Scripture is upon us and we'll be reading lots of pages and hoping to remember some of it by the end, the conversation has found new application for us. So I've asked Noah to share a little bit about what he's discovered in his learning and in his reading other people's research. And so Noah's got some good news, bad news for us today. Noah, can you start us off with bad news for effective study strategies?
Sure. First, I just want to give a reference real quick that I found really helpful. I take a lot of this information from. It's a paper called Improving Students' Learning with Effective Learning Techniques, Promising Directions from Cognitive and Educational Psychology. It's a nice fancy title, but it's just been really helpful. And so, 3 techniques that you really probably shouldn't use, even though you probably use them right now, are 1, text marking. So that's like highlighting or underlining or anything like that, where you're just like marking portions of the text. It's not helpful in learning what you mark, and is hurtful to trying to remember things that you don't mark. So it's just not a really good study strategy. The second one is summarization. So just writing the summary doesn't actually, there's mixed research on whether that actually helps you learn what you're writing the summary of. And then the third one is rereading. It just takes a very long time, and it's to reread the text, and you don't get as much benefit from it as other things. So it's just inefficient rather than a bad strategy.
So Noah, no highlighters, no summaries mixed results on that, and no rereading. I'm wishing right now we had met sometime before my 6th grade year in middle school, but I don't know that you would have been much help then. What can we use? What are some techniques that would be helpful to us as we hope to retain some of what we learned this summer?
So a couple decent techniques for general studying that are a little harder to apply to just text like reading the Bible are elaborative interrogation and self-explanation. So elaborative interrogation is essentially channeling your inner 2-year-old and constantly asking why about whatever you're reading. It could be like, why does Moses get angry at the Israelites when they're walking through the desert? Or why does Jesus overturn the money changers table in the temple? The other one, self-explanation, is related, but it's generating explanations of how new information, so what you're reading now, is related to information you already know, whether it's other stories in the Bible, such as like when you're comparing common stories between Gospels, how are they related, how are they different, what does each mean in light of the other, or it could be relating information not just within the Bible, but then also to outside sources, like what you have read in maybe some books you have read, in a wonderful sermon that you heard from your priest.
So we are looking to make connections for ourselves based on the material that we're reading and material in our own lives in ways that kind of invite us to make the story our own and connect to our own internal processing.
Exactly.
Noah, you have mentioned, so we've talked about like the poorer practices, some of the better practices, and then there are better ways to practice the better practices. And I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So there's 2 sort of meta techniques, what I'll call meta techniques, because you can use them as sort of ways to implement these other techniques that I've talked about, that can really help improve your learning, even above just sort of the baseline. The first is called interleaf practice. And so essentially that is within a single study session to change up what exactly you are doing within that session, so that you are interleaving different parts. Instead of doing one thing at a time, you do one thing and then you do a second thing and then you go back to the first thing and then you do a third thing and then you do the second thing, so it's interleaving them all together. The second one, which is even easier to implement, is called distributed practice. And essentially it means don't do it all at once. Cramming might be great the night before the exam, but if you want to remember for more than a day, it's really to distribute your study sessions out in time. As an example, to make it a little clearer, if you want to remember something for a week after you've stopped studying, so after you stop studying, you want to remember it about a week, you should study it a couple days in a row, so that the delay between your study sessions is 1 day, and so then about 5 to 10 days after that final study session, you'll still remember what you were learning, what you were studying. If you want to remember something for a couple of months, then you should study it about once a week. So if you study once a week for a month, then like a month and a half, 2.5 months after you've stopped studying that, you'll still be able to remember it.
So we hope this has given you some good food for thought. I hope you have used your highlighter and summarized this video along the way as an indication that you weren't paying attention. But that's why it's a video. You can go back and revisit it, and hopefully this will be an added tool for you so that the summer of Scripture can bless you richly, which is our prayer. Thank you to my friend Noah for sitting in with us today, and happy reading. Peace.
Here it is, a groove slightly transformed, just a bit of a break from the norm.